I think there's no other way to live. I think I'm a big proponent of this. I say, whatever you want to do in life, you go after it, because the worst thing that happens is you fail and you learned a shit ton and you're back to ground zero. Like, I honestly think there's no downsides to chasing your dream.
What's going on, Brainiacs? We're back with another podcast.
Episode 5, baby. Really excited that we've already made it to episode 5. We wanted to switch up the scenery a little bit for you guys. So CJ had an amazing idea to get outside on this beautiful fall day. That was weird. But no, CJ had a great idea. It's a beautiful day outside. And yeah, I think your thoughts, you were just saying your thoughts kind of flow better when you're outside on a walk in nature. Yeah, so episode 5, we got a lot of good topics for you guys. Some fan questions were submitted. Yeah, let's get right into it.
Yeah, so, and our apologies if it's a little windy. We're going to try and work on the audio.
Yeah, we've heard your feedback on the sound and all that, so we're trying out different stuff. We're trying out different methods, but...
My hair's getting in my way.
Oh, your hair?
Should I cut my hair, podcast? First fan question. Your thoughts on whether a successful leader is one everyone fears or everyone loves?
I think it's definitely a combination of both.
That was mine too.
So I think I've had, let's just use basketball coaches for example. I've had basketball coaches where people have loved them, but nobody has feared them, and they haven't been the most successful leader because they've kind of allowed people to walk all over them and not gain that respect. And then on the opposite spectrum, I've had coaches who everybody's feared and not loved, and then you're so fearful of him, you're not allowed to you're afraid to even have an open conversation and make mistakes and do all that stuff. So I think the best leaders find that perfect balance of both, where you're definitely still fearful of them, where you can't walk all over them and you have to show them respect, but then you also love them and can go to them with anything going on in your life, and you're not afraid to make mistakes. And yeah,
I agree completely with Danny. I think that there's a lot of leaders who strive to be feared, and there's a lot of leaders who strive to be loved, and it's rare that you find a leader with kind of a mix of both. I think if it's too far on the feared spectrum, a lot of the people who are following you will lack creativity because they're so scared of you, and then you won't get the best out of who you're leading. So you won't get your, say if it's a team, you won't get
maximum potential.
You won't get the team to the maximum potential because they fear you so much and they're scared of what you're going to say. But then on the other hand, if you're too loved, I believe that there's no respect there, right? So if you don't respect them, you respect nothing that the coach says, a team can't go anywhere if they're not on the same page. So obviously all coaches or leaders have something they're trying to get across, and it's very important for the team to be on the same page. And if they're too loved and you don't respect them at all, the team is just going to be all over the place. So definitely a mix of both.
And it's easy for us to put this in basketball context, but I'm going to try to kind of flip it into whoever's watching their context. But for the basketball sake, for example, Coach Keckler always is telling us to shoot threes and shoot shots that in previous years maybe, or when we were growing up, coaches would maybe get mad at us or yell at us for taking those shots. And I think just that little detail of having the confidence in us to shoot those shots it just allows us to okay, who cares if I make a mistake? I'm still going to shoot. I don't care if I turn it over. It's
and that's that creativity aspect.
Yeah,
so you put that in a business, say Google or Apple.
Yeah.
If there's so many rules of what the person working for Google can do, there's going to be no creativity.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't have all these iPhones and all these cool things that they have because of the lack of creativity. So
so I think
same thing with basketball.
I think a lack of micromanagement and really just allowing the people that you're leading to kind of flow and be creative, like you just said, because I think there's a certain potential that you never reach if you're being held back. And when you reach a point where you're not afraid to make a mistake and you just are playing freely or working freely or thinking freely, your potential is untapped, really.
Right.
So
yeah, so
I think that's...
I think we both agree on that balance. Yeah, I'd be surprised to see if anybody thought the other way around. If anybody thought that strictly feared or strictly loved is better.
It shouldn't be a fear to where people are now so afraid to like make a mistake that they're like frozen in a way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That is what a lot of times happens.
Like think about, again, we're going to use basketball because it's easy. Think about somebody who comes off the bench. They're so fearful that they miss one shot or turn the ball over one time, they're going to come out the game. It's almost, then why would they even come in the game in the first place?
Right.
So if their coach is giving them that fear, like, and when I was in high school, I was really fearful when I came in the game. It's like, I can't make one error. So I would play at like 30% of my max potential because, and you've experienced this as well. It's like, you're not, but now with, we hope, but it seems like with our new coach, it's like, you're gonna come in and let that thing fly. Like, because he's giving you that confidence to play your best self.
And you get more out of your players or workers when you give them that freedom.
Yeah.
But I could see how too much of that freedom could result in like disorganization.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we definitely both agree on that balance.
Yeah, that's why I think it's really hard to be a good leader. I mean, it really is. The more we're in it every single day.
Yeah.
It's challenging. And I mean, another thing, I think I saw a video or read something about it. It's like, to be a leader, you have to be on every day. Like, there's no days off. It's like you have to bring that energy every single day, or else, like, you just have no choice, no matter what's happening.
And I think that's a good thing in a way.
Yeah.
Because if you're not a leader, you don't really have that obligation. Or I guess anyone can be a leader, but say you're put in a leadership role, you don't really have that. If you want to be a good leader, you don't really have that choice, like you said, to have those bad days. Or
guys, it's the 7-minute mark. Brief intermission. Let us know in the comments right now who you want to see on the podcast. Any guests that you'd think. If you want to be a guest, drop a comment. Maybe we'll consider. Let us know. Back to the show. Yeah.
Foggy days. And I think it's really cool. Hold on.
Windy.
I think it's really cool to see, like, when you're put in that position, you realize you can bring it every day. Like, it's possible to bring it every day. Just by having that mindset that you don't really have a choice.
Yeah. And I think for me, like, I'm a natural born leader where, like, I guess very vocal and loud and whatever. Part of me some days, like I was just saying, wishes that I didn't have to be that way. Like, some days I wish I could just go to practice and be silent. But, like, I just can't do that, right?
Yeah.
So I think
you could, but then you just wouldn't be.
But then I wouldn't be a great leader because that's not my leadership style. Like, other people lead in that way, but for me, I need to be the loudest person out there. So that's why, the best leaders, it's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty good. We can transition to the next one.
Yeah. The next question is, how can you balance a social life with being an athlete? I think it definitely gets tough at times, and you can lose that aspect of just enjoying yourself when you have academics, athletics, and you still want to have a social life. And I think social life is actually one of the most important things. There's so many studies. Like, I'm one that I think you could lock me in a room with a book for a week and I'd be fine, but
alone.
Yeah, alone. But really, it's not healthy at all. And laughing and getting out and enjoying time with your friends is very important. And I think a lot of times athletes, even people who aren't athletes and who are just very studious, will be so caught up in whatever they're doing and they'll lose the time to really just enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's something recently I've seen that I've tried to add to my life a little bit more, and my stress levels have ridiculously gone down just by hanging out with my friends more and people I enjoy hanging out with.
Yeah.
And laughing. So I think it can be hard at times, like I said, with a busy schedule, but if you map out maybe just like 30 minutes to an hour just to go for a walk with your friend and just talk, or watch a movie with a friend, or just prioritize your social life, knowing that is important to your mental health, that you can find time to do it. So if it's a priority.
And I think to add on to that, it can be in any capacity, right? Like, I guess typically you think of social life as like going out, going to a bar, drinking, all that stuff.
Yeah,
but
right.
It can be watching a movie or going on a walk, stuff like that. And I think that really helped me a lot once I learned that balance was in high school. I've talked about this, I feel like, a little bit. I was always that kind of work 24/7, not have any social life, always worried about the grind, always stressed about it. But the last couple of years, when I've really allowed myself to take a couple of days off on the weekend maybe and just enjoy myself with friends, I find that I always am better when I come back. So that mental reset, I think, is very important no matter what it is that you're doing.
Also for athletes too, PJF, shout out PJF, but I was just listening to one of his podcasts on flexibility and mobility, and it was saying, the quote he uses is, your issue lives in your tissue. So a lot of times when you're very stressed and you think that it's because like you're also very tight at the same time, so you have knots and your muscles are very tight, you would think that it would be because of your sport, but a lot of times it can be because of your stress. Your stress will directly go to your muscles, and a lot of times your neck and your traps, and you'll be very tight.
Interesting.
And so a lot of times you'll see someone will have back pain and they'll go on vacation and come back and it's gone. It's like, why'd that happen? It's like, well, you relaxed a little bit. You didn't stress as much. So your issue lives in your tissue. A lot of times if you're too stressed, your body will even feel worse as well. So
yeah, well, and what do you think are the biggest indicators of like where is that stress coming from, I guess? Just putting too much pressure on yourself, judging yourself?
Academics is hard. Obviously, a lot of people take academics very seriously, and that can be very stressful. Putting too much pressure on yourself with sports, can be, like athletics can be hard. It definitely varies from person to person, but what do you think?
No, it is really hard. A lot of people put their identities, I guess, tied to their sport. So,
right.
I mean, say you have a bad game and you're drained and tired from all that, but now you have a couple assignments to do the next day. Like, it can start to stack up and get very stressful.
Right.
So I think just what always helps me is having that overall perspective and gratitude. I always come back to that just because it's the easiest way for me to put it. Like, at the end of the day, trying to find the positives in each situation, because as a college athlete, there are a lot of potential stressors that if you let it get to you, it can be very anxiety-inducing and hard to deal with.
Right, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're playing college sports where 2% of people get to do it. So it's there's trade-offs. I always talk about, I think I made a video on this, it's like, I think in life as I've gotten older, you're going to have pain regardless. So it's like, or pain or stress or worry or hardships. So would you rather have that kind of being lazy, sitting on the couch, doing nothing and not really have anything to do? Or would you rather have that pain, grinding it out and accomplishing things? So that's kind of how I view being a college athlete. It's like, yes, it's painful to be a college athlete. You have your studies, you have your athletics, you have all this stuff. But I'd rather have that pain any day of the week than not having it.
Yeah. If you made it this far, we're at the 13-minute mark. Drop a question down below with the brain emoji in the front, and we'll answer it in our next podcast. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think those two different aspects comes down to a lot of people seek gratification in an instant moment.
Yeah.
Which you think would be like laying on the couch and doing nothing.
Which is nice sometimes.
Yeah, of course. But in the end, I find that brings no gratification. You don't feel as good about yourself if you are sitting on the couch all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas getting up and doing something hard is not instantly gratifying. It's not as easy to do that, and you're not as excited sometimes to do a hard task.
Yeah.
But in the end of the day, you'll feel a lot better about yourself.
Yeah.
Than had you sat on the couch and just wanted instant gratification of eating crappy food and watching Netflix. Right?
Yeah, and I sent you this video yesterday. I'm not going to say the person's name who made the video, but they were talking about how no matter what they're feeling every single day when they wake up, they have to do the same things. So he was saying he doesn't dive into like, am I happy today? And I think I fall into this trap a lot. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm feeling down today. I'm not feeling happy. I'm not going to do these things. But he was saying, he's like, no matter how you're feeling, you have to stay disciplined and try to do the same things every single day, because then eventually over time, if you keep doing that, you're going to be fulfilled and happy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what he was saying.
Yeah.
I've caught myself a lot over the last couple of years, like, you know what? I woke up at 9 a.m. I don't feel happy today, so I'm not going to do this. But I don't know. It was really interesting to me how he phrased it.
Yeah. A lot of people will let their emotions rule whatever they do. They kind of just like go with the flow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if they're not feeling great, they're just like, oh, whatever, I'm not going to do anything. But at the end of the day, I feel like most of the days I don't wake up fired up to go to the gym or fired up to go to class or do whatever. So if I always based my actions off my emotions, I would lack action a lot of times.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to take yourself out of your emotions and realize that you are not your current emotion. It's just emotions ebb and flow. Like they're never constant. You're never constantly going to feel happy.
Yeah.
But if you want to be consistent, you can't expect to constantly feel happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think Well, and I think consistent action leads to happiness. There's a biker going by, so give us a second. Imagine they nailed the tripod. No, but I think consistent action can even lead to happiness.
Or
right?
I don't even know if we're talking about happiness like all smiley all the time, but maybe just more peace about
and
your life.
Fulfillment, yeah.
Yeah, just less stress.
Because I think the more like
enjoyment
promises,
of
the more
things.
promises, like I found, the more promises you keep to yourself, the more content you're going to be, right? So if you keep BSing yourself and you're saying like, I'm going to keep doing this, and I do this a lot to this day, like I'm really trying to work on it myself. And I think 10 times out of 10, you don't want to get up, but you get out of bed and you get to the gym, you feel better every single time.
Correct, I agree.
So it's like you guys got to plug away and do it.
I guess that kind of ties into dream chasing. So you're waking up every day doing something for what purpose? And a lot of times people have big dreams that they're trying to accomplish. So I think this is from Troy the Rapper. Shout out Troy the Rapper. He's doing big things in Richmond, Virginia. He's very consistent on his grind. I see it all the time.
Love it.
But yeah, so what's your thought on dream chasing, Danny? So it's not really a question, it's just the topic of dream chasing, but I guess to what aspect do you go, nose down, or to what aspect do you?
I think there's no other way to live. I think I'm a big proponent of this. I say whatever you want to do in life, you go after it, because the worst thing that happens is you fail and you learned a shit ton and you're back to ground zero. Like I honestly think there's no downsides to chasing your dream. The cons of not chasing your dream are far outweigh the pros. I mean, the regret of not. I can't imagine being. I talk about this all the time. It's like I said to myself when I was transferring, I don't want to be 28 years old and say, what if I played college basketball? So I just think if you have a dream out there, it's never too late. If you're 30, 40, 50, like go chase that dream, because you only have this one life to do it. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah. Playing it safe is just not my thing.
Yeah. I think a lot of times people can have the perspective that their dream is what's going to bring them fulfillment in life. And I think that's where it can tend to get twisted.
Yeah.
So I think if you're able to enjoy the process while you're chasing your dream, that would be the goal.
It's the only way to do it, really.
So staying in the moment and like enjoying the grind to get to where you want to be, because say you're unhappy the entire time until you get to the NBA.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
Then you get to the NBA and you're like, oh wait, I'm still not happy. Like I still don't have this sense of fulfillment. A lot of times it never comes with you hitting that goal. I think a lot of the fulfillment comes with being in the moment. And just practicing being present. So I think I think I'm more of like, of course there are things I want to do in life, but if I don't hit them, I don't think I'm a failure. I'm more of just enjoying the process and doing the best I can and kind of just enjoying the moment to wherever it takes me. And doing, to
add on to that, I feel like I'm the same way, really. It's like I really just try to be process driven and enjoy the day to day. I think athletes talk about this all the time. It's like, say you do make the NBA, but then once you make the NBA, now you want to be an all-star.
It never ends.
It never ends. So it's
then once you're an all-star, you want to be the best player in the NBA. And once you're the best player in the NBA, you want to be the best player in history.
So it's like there's never a time where where you couldn't have more, right? Like you make $1 million, now you want to make $2 million. So it's almost like your destination. We kind of talk about like the future being fake. It's almost like the destination's fake,
right?
In a way, right?
The destination will never bring that fulfillment or that long-lasting fulfillment that everyone's striving for.
Yeah. So it has to come from that day to day.
It has to come from the moment, right?
Yeah.
Now is all we have. It's the only thing we can agree upon being real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's where probably most stress and anxiety comes from. just worrying about fulfilling and reaching that destination.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that's it. Almost all of life, it's like a microcosm of life in a way. It's
Yeah.
like everything kind of, it's either you're focused on the process or that destination, right?
Yeah.
So
I think for me personally, it's, of course I have aspirations that I want to fulfill, but I try not to get so caught up in them, because I know that once I reach that one thing, whatever it is, it won't bring me fulfillment.
right, but you're still a
But I
believer
still
that you're
strive-
gonna
I still
chase, that you're gonna
strive
chase them,
to-
right?
Chase, I don't even know if it's success in like a really specific endeavor. I don't,
Yeah,
because of, yeah, there's things I want to do.
yeah,
I would love to like train NBA players,
Yeah.
right? But I know that once, if I hit that, and I haven't been fulfilled this entire time, once I hit that, maybe I'll be fulfilled for like a week, and then you get used to it.
I mean, I've kind of talked about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've already kind of reached that level of like training NBA players at age 22, and it's like, yeah, it's cool for a little while, but now it's like, all
But are you fulfilled with your life? No. Like,
well,
there's
I'm working
still,
on
there's
it. I'm
more.
working on it
There's
every
more.
day, but it's like
There's always more.
now that it's not like oh now, because my dream when I started training when I was 16 years old was to train NBA players. Well, now I'm here. I'm training NBA players.
Right.
It's not like I reached, okay, now I'm training NBA players. Now it's, everything's done. It's good. No,
Right,
it's a
right,
constant kind of thing, and I want to
Yeah.
keep getting better and growing. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
So I think that enjoying the present moment ties into that we're all going to die, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
if you don't, the only thing that we have is now, and it's very possible that we could die a month from now, or like in 10 minutes, you know what I mean?
Scary,
So
yeah.
that's, I think, pushes me to do what I want to do in the current moment. This topic was from Ty Maz, so shout out Ty. He's a man. But yeah, I think death is not really a widely talked about topic,
Yeah.
and I think if it could be in the right way, it could help a lot of people out. But I guess to me, the thought of death is quite liberating. I feel like it allows me to do what I want to do and not care what people think, because I know they're going to die one day and no one's going to remember really anything.
Yeah.
It also gives me a healthy level of stress in a way. I think that by having that like deadline, kind of like you think of a school assignment, you have a deadline to do it in a week. Eventually, that stress kicks in and you get it done,
Yeah.
right? Or you don't get it done and you're kind of like, you failed. Same thing with life, in my opinion. You have that deadline of death.
Yeah.
And if you keep that in your head, it kind of gives you a healthy stressor to get the things done that you want to get done. So to me, it's a motivating factor that we're not here forever. And it's not really that much of a scary thing to me. It's kind of an exciting thing that there's the quote, every man has two lives and his second life begins when he realizes he only has one.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's easy to go through this life and think we're immortal in a way, when really none of us are. No one has lived forever, so what is your
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's almost like there's so much to do. Gary Vee talks about this a lot. He's like, there's so much to do and there's so much to accomplish. He's like, the thought of not squeezing the shit out of the one life that you have, I think he said the word, I think he might have used the word ludicrous or something. Just like he always says, you could have been a tree, you could have been a dog. Like, the odds of being a human, I think, is 1 in, or 4, it's like 400 trillion to 1 or something.
Yeah.
So it's, and again, it's really hard to have that. And I do think there is a balance of like knowing that, like, for example, saving money. Say you think you're gonna live till you're good. Say you think, I mean, if I think I'm gonna live till I'm 100, right? So it wouldn't really make sense for me to spend every single dollar I have at age 23 and go like do everything, because now I have, like, I could do that because I could die tomorrow. But at the same, so I think it is a balance of like knowing, planning for the future, but also like living for the now, right? So
Because nothing is promised at all.
right. So it's
Yeah, I think to me,
like, think about it real quick. Think about it. If you were gonna die tomorrow, like, what would you do this second? You'd probably like go spend time with your family, right? Or travel, or do something like travel to a crazy country or whatever. But you have practice tonight. Like, you're not gonna, you know what I mean?
Right,
so it's
right,
like
right.
you never know what that. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. I think I use it as like a motivation factor in a way. That. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely a little scary. I guess to try not to think about it, but
Yeah. See, I guess I have the perspective where I like to think about it because it kind of gets me fired up.
yeah, I mean, I can see how it gets you fired up. I'm not. I don't know. I feel like I'm the type of person who'd want to live forever. So like,
I wouldn't. I don't think.
you wouldn't.
I don't think so.
I just feel like there's so much to do. Like think about, like I love traveling. There's so many countries I haven't seen. Like there's so many people I haven't met. I don't know. I just feel like there's so much to do. Yeah, there's so much to do and so much to accomplish. It's like 100 years, like is not enough, right? So it's like, how much can
You got to find what you really value.
Yeah.
And then obviously religion brings a different aspect to that.
Yeah.
Sometimes if people have very strong religions, they feel more safe about death because I know Christianity, it's a saying that this is not the life we're meant to live and the eternal life is in heaven with God. And so that's obviously a different perspective. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever really thought about it in a negative context. I think it's, to me, a healthy stressor, kind of like the deadline of that paper that I kind of keep in the back of my mind almost every day. Live like I'm going to die one day. Like, don't act like this thing lives forever or is forever.
Guys, look, if you made it this far, you are a real one. It's the 27-minute mark.
We didn't go 27 minutes.
I think we went 27 minutes. If we haven't bored you guys yet, I mean, you guys are definitely our biggest supporters. Drop a brain emoji in the comments so we know who you are. Drop a couple questions if you want. Love to hear from you. Back to the show. All right, so we covered a lot of good topics today. I think ones we haven't really touched on, and it's already episode 5, so that's good. We haven't run out of topics yet. I think it's time to get into flowers and favorites.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to keep this favorite simple, actually. Let's go favorite season.
What do you mean?
Like favorite
Like on
season.
food?
No, fall,
Oh,
winter,
season.
spring, or
Okay.
summer. Because, why don't we do favorite seasoning as well? We'll do both. So we're out on this beautiful fall day. What's your favorite season? I guess you can go first. From a Northeast perspective, so like from Philly, right? Because Miami is like fake; they don't have seasons.
Yeah. I would say spring. No,
You're good.
You're good.
A lot of bikers keep going by.
I would say spring. I think summer gets a little too hot for me. Fall even is a little cold sometimes. Spring is that happy medium for me. So, yeah. All the flowers too, like beautiful. I love flowers.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually mix this up. I'm not gonna go with a season. I'm gonna go with months.
It's not even the question, bro.
I know, but so say
You gotta go season.
No, because hear me out. Spring, I think, is still cold. Like April is cold. April has cold. May is my birthday, so I love May. And then I'm gonna hit it with
season.
I'm gonna go with May and September are my favorite months.
That's not the question.
Because the weather, I feel like in May and September is perfect. September, summer's ending, fall's coming, but it's that perfect kind of mid-70s, and then May is like you're entering summer. Those two perfect months.
So I don't get to pick a month?
You can pick months. I'm gonna say May and September. I avoided the question a
I
little
don't
bit.
even want to pick a month.
All right, favorite seasoning now on food.
Old Bay.
See, I was kind of
Old
gonna say
Bay.
that, but that's not mine. I think mine is salt. Salt's a good one.
Salt is not a seasoning.
Yes, it is. Salt is definitely a seasoning.
Salt is not a seasoning.
How?
There's no way salt's a seasoning.
Salt is a seasoning.
Salt and pepper are not seasonings. in my
The
opinion.
definition of a seasoning is something that you put onto the food that is not incorporated.
See, that's just
into
not
food.
the definition. There's no. You just made that.
Anything that's in
up.
like a shaker that you
You could put
pour
anything in a shaker. I could put sand in a shaker. and put
live
it on
right now.
food.
I'm looking up. Okay, that would be a seasoning. Sand would be a seasoning.
No, it's not.
Why is it not? Why is it not?
Look up seasoning definition.
Salt, seasoning definition. It's a noun. The first word that comes up: salt, herbs, or is it herbs or herbs?
Herbs.
Salt, herbs, or spices added to food to enhance the flavor. Okay, so
I don't
there you
think
have
salt
it.
and pepper are
I'm not going to use
seasonings.
salt though. My favorite seasoning is crushed red pepper.
Solid.
If you know me, you know I do that whole sauce.
Comment down
seasoning.
below if you think salt and pepper are seasonings.
Well, they're the most basic seasonings, but they definitely are.
Comment down below.
All right, I like that favorites today. Let's go to flowers.
Oh shoot.
You want to start?
Nah.
You know, just so you guys know, we're doing flowers and favorites. We always do this on the fly because I think it's good. We
What
want
have I
to.
done so far? Sisters, mom and dad, grandfather.
It could be anybody. It could be someone who you don't even know that you want to just acknowledge that they're killing.
So,
they're killing it.
favorites, right?
Yeah.
Or flowers?
No, flowers.
Flowers. Flowers goes out to Ty Maz. I've enjoyed being your roommate, and I think that definitely seeing how you live your day out pushes me to be a better person. So shout out to you and keep doing your thing.
It's good stuff. Flowers. Interesting.
Come on.
Actually,
Come on,
I
come
was
on.
thinking about this one. I'm gonna give it's kind of a unique one. It's to a lot of people. I'm gonna give flowers.
Myself in 10 years.
What? No. I'm gonna give flowers because I always think about like where I got my toughness from. I'm gonna give flowers to.
Are you tough?
Yes.
Disagree.
I'm gonna give my flowers to my brother and all of his friends growing up because I was like 2.5 to 3 years younger than them. They always let me. We would play tackle football in the backyard. And they always let me play with them. And we would be like, literally, I'd be like 6, 7, 8 playing with like them, like 10, 11, 12. And they never exclude me. They always let me play. And I don't know. I was just thinking about that the other day. I feel like that's a big reason why I got my toughness. So shout out my brother for letting me always, including me with his friends and
Dope.
letting me. Yeah, I think that's where I got.
Comment down
a lot of
below
my
if you think Danny's tough. I don't think so.
All right, guys. We hope the audio was better today. I think it'll turn out really well.
Yeah.
Really exciting stuff. We already made it to episode 5. It's fun joining you guys every Monday night.
Yeah.
I think the feedback that we gotten from you guys has been unbelievable. The support, we've gotten over 100 watch hours on YouTube from you guys. We're still working on the Spotify, Apple stuff. We've been busy with other
Yeah,
stuff.
I gotta get that done.
Gonna try to get that done for you guys so you can listen to it on your long car rides. But I mean, yeah, keep supporting, keep giving us feedback. We hope we're making an impact on at least one of you. I know some of you have told us that we have, so it means the world, really.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys.
Okay. Signing off. See y'all on episode 6.